What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Work Crowd Podcast. We have with us here the poker playing John Gruden, aka Klucas. If you're on video, you're getting to see this awesomeness right now. In honor of the NFL starting this week, we will be doing an NFL preview covering all the divisions, and then we're also going to do a little recap of the first weekend of college football. So, Mr. Gruden, do you have anything to say about this?
How about them Buckeyes, baby? How about them Buckeyes? All right, so serious note.
Oh, seriousness. Oh,
All right.
gosh.
Now we're back to
Switch
seriousness.
to the other glasses.
All right, so in all seriousness, all right, listen. The Ohio State Buckeyes did exactly what I told you they were going to do. I told you from the get-go that just because they lost a lot of players does not mean that there's not people behind them ready to step up and go. But there is one outlier that I forgot about, Doug, and I can't believe I did. How good, I mean, for a debut, was Matt Patricia. He was in his bag on Saturday.
It was.
I mean, he made Arch Manning look horrible. And that's what I want to talk about. Let's not, I'm so tired of, it seems to be the theme for Ohio State. That they play these games, everybody doubts them, they're not going to win the game, and then they play them, they win, and then the aftermath is, well, they were overrated, they're not that good, or they shouldn't have been there to begin with, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, at what point do you just say, no, Ohio State's just good at football? Like, you know, that's what I'm saying in terms of, I don't want to just straight out say Arch Manning is bad, because it's one game. It's your technically, even though, yes, you played 2 games last year, really your first start with you being the full-time starter, not coming in for an injured quarterback, none of that. Your first actual full-time starting, and you just so happen for that first game is going to have to be at the shoe against the defending national champions. It's a tough ask for any QB, for new or not. So, and that's what the Ohio State defense made Arch Manning look the way he did. Not Arch Manning is just bad. That defense made him look bad. Now, that does play into Arch Manning did not play well, and he's got a lot of things to work on, because if we're talking generational guy, these are the level that defense is the level of defense he will see on Sundays once he makes that level. So you better figure it out now. But I will say, if Saturday for Ohio State was any indication of how this season's going to go, and if Matt Patricia is going to be like that all year, boy, oh boy, I'm feeling so good about Ohio State going back to back. Because if that's the case, that's the best defense in the country. And you have to imagine, even Julian Sayin was good for his opening debut. His numbers don't wow you, but you could definitely tell the moment was not big for him. You could tell through some throws that Arch was making, the moment was a little too big, and it was starting to get to him. Julian Sayin was poised. There was nothing that affected him on Saturday. Pressure coming down, the drop passes that he had early, none of that really affected him. And you have to imagine the offense is eventually going to click at some point. And if the offense starts clicking and you allow Julian Sayin to fully figure it out, and then Matt Patricia is going to be in his bag with this defense, man, I'm telling you, the back-to-back natty is going to be, I'm going to be impossible to be around. Because the other thing, as any Ohio State fan that was watching this right now, and Doug, you've been through it with me the last couple of years where I've been complaining about it. Watching, maybe it was a Jim Knowles thing, and not saying anything bad about Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles was a good defensive coordinator, but I don't know what Matt Patricia's done different. But the fact that I have cornerbacks that turn their head to the ball and make play and can actually, because that's always been the problem with Ohio State, is they've always been right. The corners have always been in good coverage, outside of your name is Denzel Burke, who's a burnt piece of toast. But they've been right there all the time, but they get these stupid pass interference penalties because they don't turn their heads. And Saturday, I'm watching Davison Igbenogson, who was the most penalized corner in the country last year, is actually turning his head and making deflections. No penalties. It's amazing. And then not to not to also imagine Texas, if you look at every one of their plays, ran away from Caleb Downs.
I mean, wasn't you?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, everybody, some people on Twitter were like, Caleb Downs isn't, involved much. Well, yeah, because they're not throwing his direction. So, yeah, I mean, but the other problem was I didn't like Sark's play calling for Arch either. I feel like in the third quarter, especially when Texas, when they first scored, or when the only time they scored, they used it a lot of times. Like a lot of it was Arch QB runs. And I get it. You don't want to run it because you don't want to take the chances of him getting hurt, but it was working. I would have gone more towards that. But I also understand, and this is why I think Julian Sayin didn't look as good, or as some people would say for the stats wise and everything, is you can tell Sark and Ryan Day. Now, Ryan Day's not calling the plays, but I'm sure he had a lot to say so. They're not opening up the playbook first week of the season, regardless playing, Ohio State and Texas, them playing each other. They're not opening up the playbook and showing you everything. So, but I agree with that to an extent. Texas, you need a score at the end of the game. You got to open up the playbook to something. So I was very impressed. Both defenses. Texas's defense was awesome as well. Don't get me wrong. They played great as well. It just so happens on a busted play, busted coverage, whatever you want to call it, Carnell Tate comes up with that 50-50 ball for the touchdown that ends up being the deciding factor of the game. Colin Simmons gets the face mask penalty in the first half, which was a third down going fourth down. Ohio State was going to punt. They end up now with a touchdown. Ends up being the deciding factors. Both defenses were awesome. Sayin was poised. You could tell, like I said, both sides, teams didn't want to open up their playbook. Also, I'm stating the obvious here. This should not have been a noon game. This should have been a night game at the Shoe. Even saying that, the crowd was electric at Ohio State. So credit to them. Now on to the rest of the day, because it was hard for me to sometimes it can be hard for people after their team's already played at noon to pay attention to the rest of the college football world, but I'm a sicko and I watched every possible game that I could. So just a few notes from a couple other of these games. Maryland might have a stud freshman quarterback in Malik Washington. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see his numbers that he put up this past weekend, but true freshman quarterback stepping in. Wrong conference. True freshman quarterback stepping in at Maryland, and he was 27 of 43 for 258 and 3 touchdowns. He looked very good this weekend, so Maryland may have something special at the quarterback position there. Kentucky still has no offense, none whatsoever. You can only throw for 85 yards against Toledo is asinine to me. Kentucky's doomed, just like we thought they were. Tennessee's defense this year is going to carry them over their offense. In recent years, it's been their offense has been the catalyst. Last year, it was kind of more so the defense, but that defense at Tennessee is really good. Watching them against Syracuse, they were good. Here's another stat real quick, when you because I put this down towards the bottom. Arch Manning against the Ohio State defense, Doug. 37% off target percentage. He had a 37% completion percentage off the target. So like a possible catchable balls, 37% completion percentage from Arch Manning. It's the lowest of any Texas starting quarterback in the last 10 years.
Whew, that's rough.
All right, so there's that. That's it from the Ohio State-Texas game, I promise. Alabama's defense is a problem. I mean, I don't know if they just have a Gus Malzahn problem. Like, they see Gus Malzahn and they just shit down their pants. But that defense is a problem. And that Alabama team as a whole is a problem. I would almost guarantee if Nick Saban was coaching and that was what happened on Saturday, half the roster would be gone. He would have cut half the roster.
Well, let's be honest, they wouldn't be in that position if Nick Saban was there.
No, but I'm just saying if it were to have happened and Saban, or let's just say that happens, Saban says, I'm coming back. They get rid of DeBoer, Saban. He would have got rid of half the roster on Monday, as of today.
Yeah, probably.
In saying that, I know it's only been a year and a game. I don't know if Kalen DeBoer is the right fit at Alabama.
Dude, this isn't Washington. He needs to figure that out real quick. This is you're replacing Nick Saban. Yeah. He needs to figure it the fuck out quick.
I don't know. I get it. I was okay with the hire because obviously he was really good at Washington. But you always say, give it a year, whatever. They won 10 games last year. They went 10-3. What was it last year? So, it wasn't bad. But I'm looking at this Alabama team because now you're in year 2. You've integrated more of your guys, so now you've kind of gotten rid of more of Saban's guys and integrated more of yours. This isn't a good look. And there was a tweet yesterday. I thought it was hilarious, but it's also got some truth to it. Alabama's in a scary position where they could end up like Indiana basketball.
Okay. Seems random. All right, but go ahead.
But think about it. Indiana, powerhouse for all these years, never got the coach right after that, after Bobby Knight and all them, and now you've gone to obscurity. For the most part, that's what he's saying, is that Alabama's in fear of dropping off to that.
There's going to be people. If Kalen DeBoer gets fired, there'll be somebody who wants to bring Bama back to what it was.
I agree, because I think a lot of the top coaches that could have taken the Bama job just didn't want to success Saban, didn't want to be Saban.
How could you do that?
They didn't want to do that. So credit DeBoer for wanting to do that, for one, but I think even for a guy at the magnitude of Dabo or somebody like that, even though they're, in that upper echelon of coaches, they don't want to take that. And,
right.
But I could see it now. Florida State, though, again, I don't like doing this whole Alabama was just bad. Florida State was really good. This is a completely different Florida State team than last year. They play defense. I mean, they were hard in the trenches. I mean, they were pushing Alabama on both sides of the football, offensive line and defensive line. And when was the last time you could say that about any Alabama team?
No, I don't know.
And listen, Tommy Castanelos, he stood on business.
Talk this talk. Now he walked the walk.
Yep. If you're going to talk the talk and let everybody call you crazy, you better be able to back it up. And he sure did back it up.
Got to respect it.
And Doug, this might be something that you might have known already. I just got a couple more notes. Will Stein might be the best offensive coordinator in the country.
He's up there.
He might be. Oh, and I say that because you go from Bo Nix, which he had the last year of Bo Nix, because what's his name? The head coach at Arizona State. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Was his first offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, at Oregon. Bo Nix's first year, second year was Will Stein, and then Will Stein had Dylan Gabriel, and now this year Dante Moore. So you got to think about this. Will Stein's had 3 years at Oregon, 3 different quarterbacks, and they don't miss a beat at all. Dante Moore this weekend, new starting quarterback at Oregon, was 18 of 23, 213, 3 touchdowns. They put up 59 points on the board. Nice. They don't miss a beat. So, I mean,
he'll be head coach for a long.
That's a lot of credit to your offensive coordinator for having guys ready. And hopefully he will be, if all things fall into place correctly, he will be the next head coach at the University of Kentucky. But also moving on, how about that LSU Clemson game? I think clearly out of all the teams we watched on Saturday, besides Ohio State, LSU was the best team in the country on Saturday.
Nussmeier definitely looked like the best quarterback in the country.
Hey, who would have predicted that? Nussmeier was phenomenal. But the more shocking part for LSU is they're replacing an entire offensive line.
Oh, I didn't know that. A whole offensive line?
They replace. I mean, I think they only have like one starter back from last year. So the thought process going into this game was you're pretty much replacing an offensive line. The strength of Clemson's team is the defensive line. So you go, well, RIP to them boys, first game of the year, you got to play against these guys. And they manhandled Clemson on the line. And not only that, guys, it seems like LSU has a defense now. Like we talk about, State figuring it out on the defensive side with Matt Patricia, but LSU was getting after Cade Klubnik. And I mean, they have a lot of people questioning Cade Klubnik's first round status right now. I mean, Clemson outside of Ohio State, I can argue, has the best wide receiving core in the country. And you couldn't tell on Saturday because they were locked up in a box, thrown in jail. That was my other point. Thanks, Doug. Garrett Nussmeier, so far, best quarterback in the country. And then the last two, Devin Dampier, Utah's starting quarterback, which we talked about a little in the Big 12 breakdown. He's a Heisman sleeper. He had a phenomenal game against UCLA to open up the season. If you were a sicko enough to stay up and watch that game Saturday night like I was, 21 of 25 for 206, 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 87 and a touchdown. I think if Utah wins and Dampier's doing that, he's a Heisman sleeper for.
Yeah, Utah looked pretty good. Or at least the quarterback did.
Utah putting up 43 points is something, that's kind of like Iowa putting up folks. Iowa scored 34 this weekend. The Big Ten might be in trouble. All right, if the Iowa's figured out how to score the football. And then the last one, because of how this weekend panned out, Florida dominated, which they didn't really play anybody. Florida State beating Miami.
Well, they didn't let us. Florida didn't even let them score. It was 55-0.
Yeah, but they didn't play anybody.
Long Island.
Yeah, and then Florida State beating Alabama, Miami beating Notre Dame.
Yeah, that.
So is the state of Florida back in football? USF beating Boise State. You
That was a
know,
good win too.
is the state of Florida back?
I don't know, but I tell you what, Miami looked pretty good. Carson Beck looked very comfortable.
That defense. You
against
talking about
Notre
another
Dame.
great
His
defense?
who's really good, I think.
Another great defense. Miami. That's a problem.
Yeah, Miami looks good. I might have underestimated them a little bit.
I think I did too.
Going to get as a Louisville fan going to Miami in that game's going to suck.
Yeah, because you got to think about, and not saying that he can't, so I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this, but for, you just watch them. They pretty much took Jeremiah Love out of the game, and there was an argument that Jeremiah Love is the best running back in the country, and they took him completely out of the game. So now that kind of makes you wonder, could that same thing happen to like Isaac Brown?
It's possible. Louisville's got really good receivers though. If they can get them the ball, they can make some plays.
So there's that. All right, so
But real quick, I want to talk. What about Lenore Sellers from South Carolina? He looks pretty good too.
Yeah,
I mean, anything from him.
Here's my thing with him. A lot of people are, because once college football starts, everybody likes talking about the draft, which I'm one of those sickos too. So everybody wants to talk about Lenore Sellers, and to me, he was already a first round talent, but everybody wants to say, like there was a tweet I saw that said Lenore Sellers is the type of quarterback you build your franchise around nowadays. And then somebody said this is Anthony Richardson 2.0. Brother, no, because Lenore Sellers has actually played downs of football in college. By the time he finishes this year, he'll have 2 years of college football under his belt. Anthony Richardson had a year, if that, under his belt coming out of Florida. Also, he's playing in a more NFL style with Shane Beamer versus Anthony Richardson was not playing in that kind of offense.
Whatever they ran over there.
Yeah. So, no, completely different. So, but moving on.
So,
or you had another thing?
Well, no, I just want to. Do we think Peyton and Eli called Arch? Be like, look, here's what you do. Like, seriously, you think that actually happens? You think they called?
I think, and
Arch?
I said this, I was talking to Spencer and Brandon on Sunday about this. I think it would have been hilarious had they done Manning cast for Texas, Ohio State, and I could have saw Peyton and Eli's live reaction.
I mean, yes, credit to Ohio State's defense, but he missed, like you're saying. I mean, 37%, that's a stat. He missed a lot of wide open throws.
I also think the one thing that you could take away from this is I can clearly see why Archie and them are saying he's going to spend 2 years at Texas.
Yeah, maybe
his mechanics are way off. Like there was a play, there was a third down. It might have been the one to Ryan Wingo when he threw it behind him. He's got a clean pocket. Nobody's coming after him, and he sidearm throws it. Why? Just step into the pocket, step up, and make the throw. And his mechanics are not all the way there. And again, kind of like the point I made when I said let's pump the brakes on Arch for a little bit. When the two games that he started in last year were against the 120th and 80th ranked defense in the country last year. Of course he was going to look good with the Texas talent around him. Then he played Georgia in the second half. Then they benched Ewers and they put him in the second half, and he looked like he looked like he had piss running down his leg. Guess what? That's exactly what it looked like on Saturday against Ohio State. He looked like he had piss running down his leg.
Yeah, I mean,
his first ball, if I remember correctly, and we texted about this because we were texting back and forth during the game. His first ball he threw the ball into the dirt in front of his wide open wide receiver.
Yeah, first play.
So yeah, he will figure it out by the end of the year. But I will say, and I don't, if that game against Ohio State has any indication for how Arch's season goes, with like I said, I didn't agree with Sark's play calling. I will just say, I would not be shocked if the season goes the way it does. They don't have a successful season. Arch doesn't necessarily look bad, but he doesn't look great. Don't be surprised if Arch is the most coveted piece in the transfer portal next year. And as much as I hate to say it, good old Rocky Top might be calling his name back at Peyton's home. So,
or do you send in where quarterbacks get developed?
The problem is right now there's not really that one school where quarterbacks get developed right now. They're kind of popping up out of everywhere. So like before, you could go Lincoln Riley. Well, I mean, we're
Not now.
not now. And I'm watching what Caleb's done in the NFL so far, and I'm like, maybe Kyler and Baker were just that
Good.
much better at that
They were
time.
good.
But I mean, really, the only schools that you could make the argument that are like your best for your quarterback development would be Ohio State, but they've got Julian Saying now, and he'll be there for the next 2-3 years.
Keep going.
So Tennessee, I think, would be another good one for the most part, because I think Josh Heupel, I think Nico was just not a good fit with Heupel. So I think that would be a good spot. I don't know what other school are you wanting me to name here?
Come on, buddy. The Brahms have already just put somebody.
Oh, you're talking about Louisville,
buddy. We got NIL.
I don't know.
The Mannings already like the Brahms.
I don't know if you would have enough NIL to do that.
Oh, we would. Absolutely.
I don't
to
know.
Drop it on a player like that? Yeah. For football?
I don't know.
I bet we can find it.
Listen, it'd be fun if he did.
There's a video out there. I'd have to find it, but there's a video there about Peyton and Eli talking about Brahms, about Jeff Brom and Brian Brom.
So I would, like I said, okay, so yeah, Louisville would be one of them because yes, Shuck is in the NFL now. He's probably going to be the starter for the Saints. Plummer just got cut, but that's Plummer. The verdict will be out about Miller Moss by the end of the year.
Aiden O'Connell, Brahms guy. He's in the NFL.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the problem is somebody like Manning, and even with the Mannings, like, yeah, they may like the Brahms, but they're going to want him to go to some, no disrespect to Louisville, some high profile school. So it's going to be, school like, just naming it, Bama, Georgia, Clemson, of that nature. But it would be very fun to see him go to Louisville.
We'll see.
I think it'd be equally as fun to go to games as it was with Lamar.
No.
I think it would be.
By
the time he got developed, yes. Because you'd be watching Arch sling that thing all over the field.
I mean, maybe, but God, no. Come on. Lamar was a generational talent in college football. Let's be honest.
And Arch very well still can be too.
According to Feinbaum, he is, but that dude had a bad week.
Yeah, don't give me Feinbaum is over this weekend, okay? I have the right of mind to call him and tell him how much of an idiot he is.
We know some guys that can have made it on the show before, so let's call him up.
It's true. All right. So let's move on to the big portion of this show, and that's going to be the NFL preview, where I'm going to give you my predictions for each division, records, and then who makes the playoffs, who wins the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. So we're going to use this right here. Obviously, 4 teams in each division. I can't really use this or can't really change this model, so we'll just go in order as we go. So this first slot we're going to use for the AFC East. Okay. So I'm going to go from bottom to top. Doug, and when we go through each division, I want you to tell me if you would change anything or how you would have it, anything else. All right. So the last team in the AFC East, I have the New York Jets. I think their defense is really good. Problem is, as much as I really hate to say it because he's my guy, the things I'm hearing out of camp, out of Justin Fields, just is not good.
Oh, it sucks.
I would have to go with the Jets and move forward. Third place, I'd have the Miami Dolphins. By the way, the Jets I have at 3-14 on the year. Dolphins, I have them at 6-11. I know when Tua's healthy that this team has been good. Couple things wrong with that because one, I can't trust that Tua's going to be healthy the whole year.
Yeah.
2, their defense is very suspect. They have Bradley Chubb on the defensive side, but you lost Javon Holland. They traded away Jalen Ramsey. They don't really have much going in the secondary. And sure, the other question is Tyreek Hill going to be there all year with all the things they've got going on? I don't know. So I've got the Miami Dolphins third in the division at 6-11. At second, I have the New England Patriots at 11-6 on the year. I think the schedule is very favorable for the Patriots for this year. I think Vrabel obviously is going to have these guys ready. They're going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL, I think, this year 1. And I think Drake May is going to, because of how good of a defense he's going to have time to develop throughout the whole season. So I have them going 11-6.
Diggs will be a good piece for that.
Do what?
Diggs will have a good year this year, I think.
Correct. And then number one in the division, the Buffalo Bills. If you're going to pick any other team, you're just dead wrong. Josh Allen isn't losing this division. All right. So Anything you want to change there, Doug, at all?
No, and that sucks for Justin Fields. I'm a big fan of him too, so
Yeah.
hopefully he can figure it out.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the reports coming out of camp are wrong, and I hope he comes out slinging it and they figure it out. But
yeah, no, nothing I would change. That's good.
So AFC North here at the last, I have the Cleveland Browns. I have them going 3-14. Sorry, it's just not a good football team, and they still don't know what the hell they're going to do at quarterback.
Can we talk about that for just 2 seconds? What about Deshaun Watson just hanging around?
Yeah, that's the thing that everybody keeps forgetting. They keep saying 4 quarterbacks, talking about Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Shador, and I'm like, y'all forget Deshaun is still there?
I mean, is there a real chance he plays? I mean, I think there is. I mean, really, a healthy Deshaun Watson.
In all honesty, I could see them. I think they're because obviously they traded Pickett to the Raiders,
right?
So they're still carrying Watson, Flacco, Gabriel, and Shador. I think there is a world where Flacco plays, and then when they're done with Flacco, they play Watson, and then you'll see Gabriel or Shador maybe at some point.
I mean, yeah, I think people are really forgetting about that. So I just want to bring that up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Everybody kept talking about 4, and I'm like, 4, there's 5, because y'all keep forgetting Deshaun's on the roster.
He's a $150 million man, guaranteed.
Third in the division, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them with Mike Tomlin's first losing record in his career at 6-11. I'm sorry. Oof. I just don't believe in this. The defense I believe in 100%, but on the offensive side, Caleb Johnson in camp has not looked good. The running back out of Iowa they drafted. Jaylen Warren is not an every down back. All right. And then outside of DK, who the hell is Aaron Rodgers throwing to? So you're never going to get me to believe in Arthur Smith as an offensive coordinator either. So I'm sorry. And the schedule's not necessarily favorable for Pittsburgh. I have them going 6-11 this year. 2, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. I know the defense is an issue, all this and that. Trey Hendrickson is going to play this year for the Bengals. You got Shamar Stewart, so you got at least a little bit of a fix on the defensive side. You got that. Now you just got to figure out everything else.
They brought in Ohio State's defensive coordinator, didn't they?
No, Notre Dame's defensive coordinator.
Or Notre Dame's defensive coordinator. Sorry.
No. So I think Joe Burrow has another fantastic year like last year. Jamar Chase will be right up there. They have a healthy T. Higgins for the whole year. They actually have a running back now with Chase Brown. They have Mike Gesicki. Don't sleep on Noah Fant either as a tight end that they picked up. So I have the Bengals going 11-6 and finishing second in the division, which leaves number 1 in the division, the Baltimore Ravens, who I have going 14-3.
Wow.
I think
Where'd you have the Bills going?
Bills were 14-3 as well. This Ravens team is probably right behind Philly and all them one of the most complete teams in football. And I think Lamar is in for a huge year per usual of every year, but I think Lamar's in for a huge year. So moving on to the AFC South, our division, Doug. And
in fourth,
I have the Tennessee Titans. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Okay. I have the Tennessee Titans. I have them going 3-14. Listen, I love Cam Ward. The team around him I don't like. I think there is a chance. And here's the thing. With Jaden Daniels, Commanders weren't a good team, but we had always been saying for the Commanders they were a quarterback away. Like, they had everything else. They just needed a quarterback. They got Jaden Daniels able to lift themselves. Tennessee needs more than a quarterback. Offensive line still isn't that good. You don't have any receivers to throw to. I don't trust Tony Pollard as my number 1 running back. You still got some things to fix up on the defense. I have the Titans going 3-14. Third place in the division, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them going 7-10, and I think Trevor does take a step forward now with Liam Cohen. Now you get a full year of Trevor and then BTJ throwing him the ball. Travis Hunter now on the offensive side. Got to figure out what you're going to do at running back with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. But I think they take a step forward with Liam Cohen now. Second, I have the Colts, Doug. 9-8 is where I have us.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Listen, you're not going to convince me that they put Daniel Jones out there to just tank.
No, they didn't.
They put Daniel Jones out there because they think Daniel Jones can win football games, plain and simple. And 9-8 is with an average quarterback with a great roster. That's where this team is going to sit, is average. So, and then number 1, I have the Houston Texans at 10-7 winning the division. So we're not that far off. 9-8, 10-7, one game swing here and there. We could still potentially win the division.
We could still one of those games in Houston, which we usually do. We have in the past.
I have a splitting with Houston, but yeah. So now moving on to the AFC West. And in last place, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are a very good football team, but that injury to Rashawn Slater, losing him for the whole year. So now you're going to ask Joe Alt to move from right tackle to left tackle, and now we're a twisted ankle away of Joe Alt from having a horrible offensive line for Justin Herbert. Defense will be good under Harbaugh. You still got to figure out some receiving guys with outside of Ladd McConkey, because having an old Keenan Allen and then Mike Williams and Quentin Johnson, those aren't the answers. So, third in the division, I had the Las Vegas Raiders at 9-8. I think Geno is going to be great. I think this team is going to – Pete Carroll automatically puts you at close to a winning record as a coach, as is.
Yeah.
So I think Ashton Genty will be very good this year. The only issue I have with the Raiders really is their secondary and then receiving, or, who's catching the ball outside of Brock Bowers, because Jacoby Myers asked for a trade. If he gets traded, now who is Geno throwing to? Second in the division, I have the Denver Broncos at 12-5. I think second year Bo Nix under Sean Payton. The defense that was already good got even better this offseason. So I think the Broncos are a team trending in the right direction, obviously. And then number 1, Master Chief, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, 13-4. It's kind of like picking against Josh Allen in the AFC West is obviously way better, but Mahomes owns the AFC West, regardless of what you want to say about if the team's falling apart. No matter what, he owns the AFC West.
He's owned every team except the
Eagles, and then whatever team Tom Brady was on. So flipping it over now to the NFC side, NFC East, where we have the New York Giants last in the NFC East. I have them going 1-16. Schedule's not favorable. I don't think
you have them going what?
1-16.
My God, how long before they put?
I don't think it'll take long, but the problem is there's still a lot more issues surrounding the team outside of Jackson Dart.
Damn, 1-16.
And I would not. And if I'm Brian Daboll, I know you might have to save your job. Probably, I would not play Jackson Dart at all this year because I'm not throwing him out there with this team. Yeah. Would be my thing. I'd want to protect him as much as possible. Third in the division, the Dallas Cowboys. I have them going 5-12. Oof. I already told you, with Micah, they were anywhere hovering between 7 and 9 wins. Without Micah, your defense was already suspect. I can't imagine it gets any better, and that clearly loses you some games. I had them going 5-12, and here's where I'm going to catch some flack. Second in the division, the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen,
my God,
I'm sticking to what I've always stuck with. Who am I to mess with history? All right. History tells me since, 2002, 2000, the same team has not won the NFC East 2 times in a row.
Since 2000?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
So who am I to mess with history? Obviously, for 20-plus years, it's gone that way. Why would I be the one to mess it up? All right. So which means, number 1, I have the Washington Commanders.
Which...
it's not like out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's not.
That's not just me going, well, I'm not messing with history. Let me put the Cowboys first just because.
Right. No, yeah, you're right.
I have the Commanders going 13-4, the Eagles going 12-5. I mean, they're still right there with each other.
You have them splitting?
Yeah. Now, had Terry McLaurin not re-signed, I probably would have messed with history and just had the Eagles first. But now having Terry back, you also have Debo, who you don't have to rely on to be a number 1. He can be a number 2. Ertz at tight end. You got to still kind of figure out the running back situation. Defense that's ready. Year 2 with Dan Quinn. Commanders finished first in the division.
I'm excited to see what Jaden Daniels does this year.
Yep, I am too. NFC North. Last place in the North, I have the Chicago Bears going 6-11. I think this whole Caleb Williams thing, I think he does make strides, but I think it's going to take him a year to get used to Ben Johnson. I think it's going to take more than just a training camp for him and Ben Johnson to click. So I have the Bears going 6-11, finishing last. In third, I have the Detroit Lions, and I have the Lions going 8-9.
Wow, big drop.
I like the Lions roster. I don't see how they can still maintain a 12-13 win season, which they've been, after losing 2 coordinators.
Yeah, that does.
I love Dan Campbell, but losing Aaron Glenn and then Ben Johnson, I'm not sure that they can manage that this year at least. And also the other teams in your division have done nothing but got better as well as we keep going. I mean, even the Bears, regardless, have gotten better. So second in the division, I have the Minnesota Vikings, and I have them going 12-5. Again, it's not necessarily that I trust JJ McCarthy. I trust Kevin O'Connell. So I think regardless of who you put out there at quarterback, I think Kevin O'Connell can make them work, especially when you're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. But I have them going 12-5, and then first in the division. I was already high on the Packers. Adding Micah Parsons makes me even higher on them.
For really, like, not that much.
No, Kenny Clark and 2 first.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, they've been drafting defensive linemen forever now in the first and second round, so they have people that they can put in that place, like to replace Kenny Clark. And if you're as good as you think you can be with a healthy Jordan Love and everything else, those first round draft picks aren't nothing more than late round first round picks.
No, this is Green Bay is going to be scary.
So
does this change your record from what you had before?
Yeah, I think I had them winning 10-11 in games.
Yeah,
before, and then I have them going 13-4 now.
Yeah, Micah's going to make a real difference. I mean, anywhere he went, he was going to make a difference. But yeah,
NFC South, last place, the New Orleans Saints. I have them also, like the Giants, going 1-16. This is just a bad.
Do you think they only win one game?
This is a bad. It's a bad.
Which
team.
Game?
It's a bad team. I think they split with Carolina.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and
let's just add Carolina.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and throw that out there. Carolina's right there. I have Carolina going 2-15. These are just bad teams. Like and I think Bryce Young can still have a good year, but the rosters are horrible.
Yeah.
Second place in the division, I have the Atlanta Falcons. I have them going 8-9. I'm not necessarily sold on Michael Penix. That's the only thing. And I hope he can prove me wrong. I just don't know over the course of a 17-game season, can I trust Michael Penix?
Who's their head coach there now?
No, D'Amico. Why am I drawing a blank? It's a dude that it was a defensive coordinator from the Rams. Why am I drawing a blank? Raheem Morris. Good God.
Raheem Morris. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
And then number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I have going 13-4, winning the division. I think Baker has a phenomenal year with all these options to throw to.
I'm sorry, what did you have them going?
13-4.
13-4, okay. Yeah.
So, moving on, last division here, the NFC West. I have the Arizona Cardinals last in the division, but they go 7-10. I think the Cardinals are a good team. It's just the division they play in is just stacked. So I think they go 7-10. Third place in the division, I have the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of different people are more sold on the Seahawks than I am. Again, I think Sam Darnold is still going to be good, but I think he comes down to earth just a little bit not having Kevin O'Connell. So I think Sam Darnold is serviceable, obviously, for Seattle this year, but I think they go 10-7. Second, I have the Los Angeles Rams. I am really sold on this Rams team. I think they could be very, very good. This is a Super Bowl contending team. I just have a little bit worry about this back injury that Matthew Stafford has right now. It's the only thing I worry about. With him being old already as is and having a back injury, I do worry about it. And then number 1 in the NFC West, I have the San Francisco 49ers. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL. The schedule literally lines up for them to walk through and win this division 12-5.
All right.
And the Rams, I have 12-5 as well, but Niners win the tiebreaker in the scenario. So,
who was your second win for Carolina? It was the Saints and who? Do you remember? I was just curious. Other than that, while you're finding that though, other than that, the only other thing I would change is is maybe I don't know if the line. I know it's tough with two coordinators. I don't know if the lines drop off that much. I think there's a possibility they finish second in the division.
I have Carolina stealing one at home against the Dolphins.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay.
So, and now with that, didn't think I was going to have to type this all the way out. No, here it is. JK. Boop, boop, boop. All right, let's do the playoffs. So these would be my playoff teams. Yeah, this needs, I don't know why this is set as them 3, them 6. It would be the same game, but they just need to be swapped. So Broncos, Texans, round 1. Obviously a big CJ Stroud guy. But that Broncos team, Broncos defense is just a lot better. I would go Denver, upsetting them in Houston in round 1. How about a Mahomes-Burrow first-round matchup?
Mahomes hates to see it.
Can I interest you in a Mahomes-Burrow first-round playoff matchup? And I think this would be a very good game. And the Joe Burrow fan of me really wanted to pick the Bengals, but Master Chief at home, I don't think he loses that. Feel bad for the Patriots here, but I think the Bills run them over.
Yeah.
Vikings, Niners. I think the Vikings are very good, but I think the Niners experience gets them over the hump. Again, these two should be swapped, but either way, I would have Philly winning this game against the Commanders. And then Packers, Rams. Again, I'm very high on the Rams, but I'm just that much over the Rams, higher on the Packers. So I would have them winning. So moving on. Can I interest you in a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes AFC semifinals? And just like every other year, Mahomes beats Josh Allen in the playoffs. I don't see a scenario where he does. All right. So
Luck's got to run out eventually, right?
It does. Ravens, Broncos, and Baltimore. I would take Lamar and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Eagles, Packers in Lambeau. I'm taking the Packers.
In Lambeau, for sure.
In Lambeau, I get it. Philly can play cold weather. I get it. But the Packers, it's just something about the Packers this year that has got me thinking that they can, make this run. If Jordan Love can be as good as he was 2 years ago, obviously last year he was dealing with injuries pretty much all year. So we really didn't get to see Jordan Love be Jordan Love. But, you can spread them out. You add Matthew Golden. You can spread them out on the defense. Spread Philly out on defense with all these receivers. Josh Jacobs is not that far behind Saquon Barkley as a running back.
Ooh, in what terms?
Well, no, Saquon's obviously up here, but I'm saying Josh Jacobs isn't far away from. I'm not saying he's not far away from being the best in the league, but he's not that far off. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then also people are forgetting, along with Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, the other pass rusher for the Packers. You have to pay attention to Micah. That's going to open up Rashawn Gary and vice versa. They start focusing on Rashawn Gary. Now that opens up Micah. Could cause some problems. Tampa and San Francisco. Give me Baker and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Niners. So which sets up conference championships. Lamar in Baltimore against Mahomes. Green
Seems
Bay,
like I've seen this story.
Jordan Love, Green Bay against Baker and Tampa in Tampa.
I love the NFC championship here. I think that's going to be fun.
Hey, we run the Spider 2 Live Banana down in Tampa. I want a Super Bowl, right? All right, so let's start. You love the NFC. Let's start with the NFC. I love Baker Mayfield, and you know that.
You do.
Love Baker. Love that they're going to be able to spread a lot of teams out with Mike Evans, Godwin, Igbuka, Jalen McMillan, who they drafted last year, Bucky Irving at running back. Again, something about these Green Bay Packers.
Defense is going to be ridiculous now.
Yeah, it's just something. It just makes you think if they just kept Jair.
I mean, yeah, but
how good that defense could be.
Yes, but
so now let's flip it over to the other side. Master Chief Patrick Mahomes versus Lamarvelous Jackson. We all know Mahomes owns everybody in the AFC, and again, with history, Lamar doesn't necessarily play too well in these kind of games. Mahomes does. And we've said year after year, betting against Mahomes is like betting against Tom Brady. We'd be foolish to do it. Well, guess what, Doug? I'm foolish enough to do it because I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Chiefs. You said the streak's got to end at some point. It ends right here. Lamar beats Mahomes in Baltimore to put him in the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers.
Man, what a Super Bowl that would be.
So now Green Bay, Baltimore. Super Bowl, Lamar, Jordan Love. Great defenses. Jair against the Packers.
Well, man, there's a bunch of stories there.
And I think Lamar gets his first ring this year.
Really? You think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I do. I think Lamar gets his first ring this year.
Yeah. I would. I mean, I'm not going
to get his first ring. He solidifies himself as by far, for right now, the second best quarterback in the NFL. And the conversations with the MVP and now a Super Bowl will be had about him and Mahomes. But because the thing is, we've heard it before. I think the great comparison for Lamar and Mahomes is Manning and Brady. Manning had all the regular season stats, all the regular season awards. That's what Lamar has. But Brady just had the rings, which is what Mahomes has.
Yeah.
So
and eventually Manning got him one. And
and then, the conversation grew shorter between them two about how we could start talking about it. Same thing happens here. I do think, and this is why when I told you my futures bet that I placed, I wanted to wait till this moment. Baltimore is on my futures bet to win the Super Bowl. So yeah, and I think Lamar gets his first ring.
I mean, yeah, I would love that. I mean, for me as a Lamar fan, just in general, because he went to Louisville, that'd be awesome. I mean, is there a real chance Lamar can win MVP again this year too?
Yes, there is.
I mean, the dude just puts up insane stats. He'll do it every year.
As a matter of fact, Doug, there is a way because I have Lamar winning the MVP this year.
Back to back?
Well, not back to back because Josh Allen won it last year.
Oh,
Lamar should have won it.
Yeah.
If it's not Lamar, though, if I had to pick somebody else, I think Baker does have a very good chance to win MVP this year.
Yeah, he would be second on my list, but I do think Lamar does win the MVP this year. I forgot Josh Allen.
Yeah. So, Offensive Player of the Year, this usually goes to the wider, because usually a quarterback win MVP. This would go to the running back or wide receiver for the most part that could have won MVP, but because he's not a quarterback. But I think this guy's in for a spectacular year. I think Nico Collins wins Offensive Player of the Year.
All right.
I think
he's on your fantasy board.
He's on. He could be on that Triple Crown trajectory this year of catches, yards, touchdowns from C.J. Stroud. And I think he could be right there in the mix for Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, the guy that just got traded to Green Bay, Micah Parsons. For everything I said about going to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to worry about Rashawn Gary on the other side as well. Micah's not going to see a lot of double teams. And I think he could put up crazy sack numbers this year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think it's going to go to the Ohio State wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, because I think Baker's going to love throwing him the ball. And if that futures bet of him over 1,000 yards hits, I think that clearly would unless Cam Ward just puts up a great season, that would make him Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have Mike Green, the edge rusher from Baltimore. I think he puts up great numbers in this with the Baltimore pass rush. Comeback Player of the Year, if the Niners go 12-5, and it would be because McCaffrey's back and he's playing well. I think that would solidify him as Comeback Player of the Year. I'm not sure what this is, so don't ask me. So I'm not going to fill this out. And I think Coach of the Year goes to Mike Vrabel. If the Patriots go 11-6 and make the playoffs, I think it'll be hard for them not to give Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year. So that would be my NFL honors right there. It's Lamar MVP, Nico Collins.
Person of the Year.
Player
of the Year?
I don't know. Well, we'll just leave it blank for now. Because who am I to vote for who the Person of the Year is?
POTY, and the player stands for Offensive Player of the Year. Wow. I don't know. That's weird. It didn't really give me a...
Yeah, when I tried looking it up earlier, I couldn't find nothing.
Is that for... That's the NFL. That's weird. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Lamar, MVP, Nico Collins, Offensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, Emeka Egbuka, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Mike Green, Defensive Rookie of the Year, CMC, Comeback Player of the Year, Mike Vrabel as your Coach of the Year.
I like it.
With Ravens, Packers, Super Bowl.
Man, I mean, it's... As a fan, like just football fan in general, I think having a Super Bowl like that would be very fun to watch. I mean, I think you draw more numbers. I mean, obviously, when you have the Chiefs.
Now, if you're going to be, the guy that says the NFL's rigged, then the Chiefs probably make the Super Bowl because I'm almost willing to bet that Taylor Swift is going to be the halftime show this year.
Oh, is she?
They haven't announced it.
God.
but I'd be almost willing to bet she probably will be.
If she is, go ahead and
Then
just count the
you
Chiefs
should
in the
go
Super
ahead
Bowl.
and lock the Chiefs in for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Travis Kelce is going to have a great year. He's
They're
going to
just going to
retire.
do the wedding at midfield. That's what they're going to do.
Could you imagine that? I mean, it would be fitting, wouldn't it?
But so there you go. So Doug, I want you to tell me, and I can write this down just like mine. I'll keep up with it. We're not going to go through each one. Just tell me who you would have playing in the AFC Championship game.
I think it's going to be Bills Ravens. I think Josh Allen gets this one this year against Mahomes. That was the only one I didn't agree with, and I think it would be a Ravens Bills AFC Championship game.
And who would you have winning?
Baltimore this year. I still have Baltimore.
All right. Who would you have in your NFC Championship?
I like yours.
Okay, but if you were pick, you would pick the same?
Yeah, I think so. Green Bay and
Are you picking the Packers?
and Tampa. I think with that defense, you have to. Defense will take you all the way. I mean, defense. That's why I say defense.
I'm gonna tell you internally, I went back and forth telling myself, should I just pick Baker?
I know,
because you want to talk about a fun Super Bowl. Could you imagine how fun of a Super Bowl and the storylines? Baltimore, Tampa, same quarterback draft class, the number 1 pick and the number 32 pick playing in the Super Bowl.
True. I forgot that they were in the same draft class.
So you would still have Ravens Packers Super Bowl, and I'm assuming you would still have the Ravens winning it.
Green Bay's gonna be tough, man. I would go back and forth. I mean, that defense could give Lamar fits, but I mean, him being able to use his legs is the difference maker. I think for that, I think they could wear him out. And you can't forget they have Derrick Henry.
So,
but you got to think what separated Lamar from reaching the Super Bowl last year was his players making plays. I don't necessarily think Lamar played bad last year, but I think when you if a player,
Mark Andrews just had to catch the ball, and they're in the AFC Championship.
There's multiple situations like that for Lamar that happens, and it's just players just need to step up, and I think eventually they do. You put yourself in that situation enough, players just step up.
Who knows? Maybe picking Baltimore could be a blessing, because maybe does Cheetah get traded to Baltimore?
You think that's a possibility?
Why not?
I mean, that would be awesome. But
I think the more realistic and what's going to be sickening to see is going to be Tyreek's going to go back to Kansas City.
Ooh, you think? I mean, I could see it.
But going back to your Ravens Packers, how you said that the defense could give them fits and all this and that. The one reason, and I've been saying, and I've said this for the last 2 years now, if Lamar ever makes a Super Bowl, he's never going to lose it. Because Lamar doesn't lose to NFC teams. In his career, he's 24-2 against NFC teams.
No shit, 24-2.
The only teams he's lost to, and that's as a starter. He's 24-4 total because he got in games when his rookie year against some of those teams.
Yeah.
But 24-2 as a starter. The only 2 teams he's lost to are Philadelphia and the Giants. But I've said
Giants,
because of him having such success against NFC teams, he ever makes a Super Bowl, Lamar's going to win it.
I hope so, man.
And the reason would be just because why he has so much success against NFC teams is, everybody else you play twice a year in your own conference pretty much, or in your own division. You see them all the time. NFC teams don't see Lamar but once every 4 years.
Yeah, there's not really. I mean,
it's already hard enough. It's already hard enough to game plan for him, and now you're game planning him every 4 years, and he's just continuously getting better every year.
Yeah, the closest thing you can compare him to in the NFC is going to be Jaden Daniels, I think. But I mean, he's not.
But even for the Packers, you don't see Jaden Daniels all the time.
Nope.
So
no, I mean, yeah, the defense. Any defense.
If it's like, let's just say, like Philly, Baltimore Super Bowl, Philly would have a better chance because they see Jaden Daniels twice a year. It's more similar for them to be able to game plan for.
Yeah.
Obviously Jaden's not Lamar. Not saying that, but they're very similar style quarterbacks. So easier to game plan for.
Yeah.
Anybody else? It's not that easy. But yes, there you go. Baltimore, Green Bay, Super Bowl, Baltimore winning the Super Bowl.
Well, here's your NFL preview.
I guess real quick, I know I have scores here, but I won't say scores. But just real quick, week 1, I would take Eagles over Cowboys on Thursday. Friday, you get Chiefs and Chargers. I would go Chiefs because they're in Brazil. And then Sunday, I would go Bengals over Browns. I've got us beating the Dolphins. I do think we can beat the Dolphins. Tampa over Atlanta. Jaguars over Carolina. Patriots over Raiders. Cardinals over Saints. Steelers over the Jets. Commanders over the Giants. Broncos over the Titans. Niners over the Seahawks. Packers over the Lions. Rams over the Texans. Lamar beats Josh Allen week 1 on Sunday Night Football. And then Vikings beat the Bears in the first Monday night game. So there.
Sunday night game. That's going to be fun. I'm excited.
So there you go. Full NFL preview for you right there. Not a whole lot of good college football going on this weekend. Really only good game this weekend is Michigan, Oklahoma, and then Iowa, Iowa State if you're into those kind of rivalries. But outside of that, not a whole lot of going on in college football. It's kind of like where all the top teams are playing their
Shitty teams.
So
Yep. All right, well, there's your picks from old Coach Gruden that plays poker without those glasses. With those glasses, you look like you're ready to coach a football game. The other glasses, you look like you're about ready to take some ice, make them fold. I mean, if I'm looking at that, I'm folding right now. I don't care what I have in my hand. All right, well, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Spider 2Y banana.
There you have it.